continue to talk about how some of these issues are dealt with in schools with three folks who deal with these issues in and out of schools. Pat Holterman-Hummus is with Youth in Need. She's the Chief Program Officer. It's a nonprofit child and family services agency. Dr. Kelly Morton is principal at Barrett's Elementary School in Parkway. And Sheila Powell-Walker, care team member at Riverview Gardens. Dr. Morton, I guess first sense is that as an elementary school principal, I can't imagine the reaction, not only just you personally, but among the teachers and the parents and the kids.
It's been a heartbreaking week for everyone. It's not something that any of us can really wrap our minds around, but I can tell you that Monday felt good when school opened and the kids came back, and our children are resilient. They came to school Monday and they didn't miss a beat. It was business as usual. They got right back into their routines. That comforted the staff, and I know it comforted their parents.
Let's talk about this issue of, kids and their emotions. I don't mean just in response to this, but in a general sense, in an everyday situation. I think there is a recognition, there must be a recognition among good teachers and principals and social workers and such, of just the importance early on of recognizing the importance of those kids' emotions and where they might begin to go a little astray, if I'm putting that correctly.
I would say that any classroom teacher, any administrator, parents, anyone who is around a child on a daily basis that we are, our eyes are always open, our ears are always open. We notice those things and we try and be proactive. Conversations, we try and build very strong classroom communities where our students feel accepted and they feel able to share what they might be going through, whether it's a good day, a bad day. So we try and put those types of things and systems in place in our classrooms every day so that we are able to notice and have that open door and that safe feeling for children if they are needing to have help dealing with something, that they can go to a trusted adult and ask for that help.
Yeah, and I guess a teacher or principal can't do everything, and I guess a care team coordinator is somebody who looks outside the school. Can you kind of walk me through a process of how something that might be identified would be dealt with a kid in I don't know, in almost any grade, I suppose, or maybe it changes from age to age?
Okay, in the Riverview Gardens School District, each of our buildings has a school care team. Our school care teams are made up of classroom teachers, school counselors, school social workers, and oftentimes special school district staff and members of the mental health community who choose to come and sit at the table with us. What we depend on our classroom teachers to do, because they are the front line, are to notice behavioral changes in our children and to make the necessary referral to the school counselors so that more investigation can be done. And
you've been a school counselor.
I've been a school counselor, I've been a school social worker as well.
Yeah, what kinds of things would commonly be flagged or looked at among kids?
I would think that you would be talking about a child who is having some chronic difficulties with being able to be settled during the school day, able to function in a manner that would allow them to access the learning environment. Meaning maybe a student who's having some chronic office referrals, lots of intervention with that child outside of the classroom and in the classroom. And so I would think that that classroom teacher needs to take some steps to intervene on that child's behalf. There may be some intervention that the teacher can provide in the classroom setting, but certainly once that teacher recognizes that this is beyond the scope of what I can manage, then they need to bring in other professionals such as the school counselor and the school social worker for support.
Yeah, Pat, how does an organization like Youth in Need fit into this picture?
So Youth in Need, it provides counselors to many of these schools. We have master's level clinicians in 9 school districts in St. Charles County and St. Louis County, where we have clinicians actually embedded in the schools. So as these children are identified and need services, they're immediately linked with a therapist right there at school, which helps with accessibility, right? As was mentioned earlier, a lot of parents have a hard time getting those services because of their work schedules, because of insurance copays and other barriers, transportation. And so the services are available right there at school immediately, and there's less stigma with getting services where you go to school. It's just, kids go to tutoring or they see a speech therapist, so it's very much normalized.
Mm-hmm. The schools still seem to be the center for, it's funny, we're talking about this because the school came under attack, and yet it's really the schools that become, in a way, the chief identifier in the sense of even preventing these sorts of things early on. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch, maybe it's not.
Oh, I think that's absolutely true. And I think with these services that, with the benefits of the funding resources that were mentioned earlier with the Children's Service Fund and the Mental Health Board, we're really able to saturate the schools in our community with a lot of those services. So I feel like we are helping to prevent some of these tragic situations.
Yeah, and I always like to get to the sense of hope here, because I think we have, as I've said in the previous conversation and other folks have said, I think we have made a lot of progress in these areas. Have you seen progress since you became a counselor and then moved into what you're doing now?
Yes, I do feel like I've seen progress with accessibility to services such as school-based counseling services through Youth in Need. I always say I feel like for some reason the classroom seems to change about every 5 years. Classroom teachers go through various types of professional development, and they learn how to manage certain kinds of behaviors, but it seems like every 5 years or so there's some sort of a shift, and then we all have to try to get up to speed again so that we can continue to serve our kids.
Great.